When I tell people I work in crypto, I get a lot of reactions. The most skeptical always come from the same angle. Do you really think a poorly drawn monkey is worth $500,000? Well, let me say it here slowly and clearly. I do not understand NFTs. And to all the haters looking for conflicts, I just try to tune you out. Those with a more open mind inevitably ask, oh really? Well then what is crypto?
It's just money. It's made up.
For the last year, I direct them to DeFi. I talk to them about my experiences in corporate America, and just how rickety the global financial system actually is. I talk about the way Western culture weaponizes words like trust and justice to stop people from pursuing questions that really need answers. And I talk about the limitless potential of the EVM, of assets that could be invested with code and become smart money. June 2022 answered a lot of questions for me.
This event is the most destructive wealth event in the history of crypto.
The Luna catastrophe sent deep cracks through the foundation of the crypto market.
One of the hardest hit coins, Luna, erasing 99% of its value, now worth nearly nothing.
I mean, this is the definition of a black swan event. This is the Lehman Brothers collapse of crypto.
We all knew it, but we weren't really sure what it meant. When the news broke and the super cycle mirage faded, the anointed ones were falling. Three Arrows Capital was falling and taking the entire crypto market with it. For those not around or those not paying attention, here's a quick TLDR. The 3AC guys were considered the golden boys of crypto. They could see the future and will wealth into existence. Nexus, Celsius, and basically every centralized crypto bank had handed them billions of unsecured loans and just let them go crazy. Voyager, one bank, alone loaned them $670 million. And when all of this blew up, billions of dollars literally evaporated overnight, and many of these banks went under. But there's a small detail that sometimes flies under the radar. In the middle of the chaos, when 3AC was falling at terminal velocity, a couple Twitter heroes noticed something amazing. A bunch of wallets tagged as 3AC were frantically paying back a massive Aave loan, totaling $250 million. Over the course of the day, 3AC paid off their DeFi loans, saving the remaining assets from the clutches of the liquidation bots, and then they declared bankruptcy. Here's what I learned. When the game turned south and suddenly became a fight for their lives, the folks at 3AC looked at the horde of angry crypto bankers, the millions of destitute customers, and the full force of multiple government bodies. They decided they would still rather submit to the mercy of the real world rather than take their chances against DeFi and Ethereum. During DeFi's version of the 2008 meltdown, the rules were not broken to save the most irresponsible. Forget all the other gospels I used to sing about DeFi. When I read from the book of decentralized finance, I will preach the fable I learned in June 2022. Now, don't get me wrong. DeFi has its problems. During the same period, I watched DeFi withstand a challenge the global financial system has failed time and time again. I've learned enough to fundamentally challenge my belief in DeFi, but I still have a lot of doubts. I'm not sure I believe that DAOs are anything more than a trick to diffuse liability. I'm concerned at the lack of planning or rigor DeFi puts into organization building. And quite frankly, I'm not confident that the VE token system isn't a Ponzi scheme. But that's what it means to be early. This is the process of innovation. Yes, this, you, literally randos like you, just have an idea and push it into the world. And if it works, you try to make it grow. If it grows, other people will help you try to make it grow. It'll fail when it fails, and there's no way to see into the future. You just build and you keep building and you keep building until either it comes crashing down or you can hand it off to someone else. It's easy to point out what doesn't work. It's hard to notice what does. So, as I was saying, when people ask me what I'm excited about in crypto, I used to tell them it was because I was excited about the potential of DeFi. But DeFi works. It works in good conditions, and it works when the world is falling apart. It works better than our real-world systems. Today, I'm interested in new questions like, how do we break out of the confines of the internet? How do we make DeFi matter globally? The real problem with DeFi today isn't the shoddy tech, or the children lighting millions on fire, or even the torrent of scams and hacks. Although, don't get me wrong, these are issues. The real problem is that right now, DeFi just exists for DeFi's sake. As excited I am by the prospect of smart money, What's the point if it's just you, me, and 8 other DeFi enthusiasts swapping gains back and forth? The hard truth is that this state of DeFi is not an unfortunate mistake. It's not a culture or education problem. It's much deeper. The hard truth is that the problem is a reflection of the technical limitations of Ethereum. By necessity, the network state is mostly isolated from the outside world. That isolation is not just an important part of Ethereum, it's core to what we're trying to build. It's no wonder that everything we build seems to be circular and have questionable value off-chain. That's basically all we can do within the constraints of the network state. Efforts to bridge the network state in the real world have been in development for years, but even something as simple as passing messages back and forth is extremely difficult. Oracle technology is one of those holy grails for decentralized computing. It gives us the ability to securely pierce the veil of Ethereum and allow communication to move on and off chain as needed. If you were able to take the solutions we've imagined today and implement them, I truly believe this problem wouldn't exist. But we're clearly not there yet. And so the question is, why? Let's take a look at a hypothetical example of an oracle. Let's call it Mainlink. And we'll make it responsible for regularly publishing critical information for on-chain usage. Technically speaking, this is not a challenge. All Mainlink needs to do is create a smart contract that gives the current status and then update it as necessary. Setting aside all the gas, server, and other costs for a moment, consider what it means to rely on Mainlink's smart contract. You're implicitly trusting them to only update it with good, honest data. If you're okay with this, you need to ask yourself why you're building on Ethereum in the first place. You might as well just use Mainlink servers directly. Development will be easier and performance will be much better. Okay, so if you've been in this space for more than 5 minutes, whenever you see a trust problems, you just deploy the fix-all solution. Issue a token, force Mainlink operators to stake it, and slash them if they do something malicious. We've now transformed our trust assumption into a crypto economics assumption. We're not trusting the Mainlink operators, we're trusting in the economic rationale of the stakers. Fixed. And honestly, this is a pretty good strategy, especially if you only have one Oracle service. As Mainlink provides more and more important data, more Mainlink operators will be interested in being paid to provide Oracle services. More Mainlink Oracle operators means more people buying and taking Mainlink tokens off the market, increasing the security of the system. More security means more important data, and so more important data means more operators, means more revenue. The flywheel spins. But here's a question. What happens when a second Oracle provider launches? Are they just supposed to issue their own token too? Without getting too deep into it, all that does is force the Oracle operators to make a choice, Mainlink or competitor. And once they make that choice, they can only buy one token and secure one crypto economic system. Both systems are less secure than they can be, and so the information being pumped into Ethereum is less secure. This is the barrier we've come up against. Ethereum is now secured with proof of stake, but connecting Ethereum to the real world is still up in the air. The dynamic we've created is a paradox. Centralization is required for decentralized security. And honestly, the problem is much bigger than you think. Forget 2 oracles. The Ethereum we'd all like to see has like 100 oracles and 1,000 other types of software that sits in the middle between the EVM and the real world. And just like that, we're screwed before we even really got the chance to get started. If we can't realistically permeate the EVM, should we all just give up? If you walk away now, you'll miss the best part. The Ethereum middleware Goldrush that is imminently upon us. Now look, I can't give you the answers. I can't see the future. But I do know who the future seers are, and I know what they're building. And while I can't tell you what's coming, I will tell you who I am watching as I prepare for the future of Ethereum. EigenLayer, who is extending ETH staking to allow node operators to provide middleware services by placing their staked ETH under additional slashing conditions. Imagine if instead of staking Mainlink tokens, Mainlink security relied on the operator's staked ETH. Obol Network, a project that is decentralizing validators themselves, allowing different operators to specialize in different parts of the ETH validation and ETH servicing without compromising on network security. Flashbots launched an entire field of study and industry around MEV, which exists entirely between the EVM and the real world. And there's a whole suite of data availability protocols that will radically change our ability to scale Ethereum, and so many more. We're currently living through the hurricane of history. Institutions that have existed for generations are crumbling before our eyes. The economy looks like a rapidly decomposing zombie that we've been keeping alive since 2008. The Earth is figuratively on fire, and humanity is more concerned with deciding if it's natural fire or a man-made fire than they are about doing anything about it. I mean, nuclear freaking war is back on the table. People are scared. I'm scared. Every day is a little more stressful than the last. And despite all of that, I literally cannot contain my excitement for the future. I can hear the alarm bells ringing, and yet I can't stop smiling. And if you're paying attention on chain, you're probably smiling too. Here's my one piece of advice for all the builders who are working to bring the world computer online. Do not leave Ethereum. But it's time to start looking outside of the EVM as we build the network state. The gold rush is coming, Anon. Are you ready?